Hello friends! I create 3D engravings and bas-reliefs on stone. It's an incredibly fascinating process, but to create a true masterpiece, believe me, you'll need more than just a couple of tools. I use dozens of tools in my work. And how many consumables do you think you might need? 20? 50? Or maybe 100? Actually, about 600, and in some cases, several thousand. And now I'll tell you what I use. Let's start with the simplest thing, clothes. First of all, it must be comfortable. It shouldn't restrict your movements, especially when it comes to point engraving. In my case, it's a t-shirt, light pants, sneakers, and most importantly, gloves. Some might say, just put on any pair and go. But it's not that simple. The gloves must fit the size of your hand. My hand is 20.5 centimeters and 9.5 in width. Finding the right gloves is always a problem for me. There are situations when you need to take off your gloves. This is for precision engraving. You need to be able to feel the engraver in your hand, to literally become one with it. When working with stone, fine dust appears in the air and it's important to use a respirator. But sometimes I get so immersed in the process that I even forget to put it on. I forget because I'm afraid of missing something very important. Nevertheless, take care of your breathing. I'm working on it. So I have a respirator, I have clothes, the tools are in place, the gloves are on. One more thing is missing, but it's a very important device. A helmet? No. Goggles? Not quite. Binocular magnifying glasses, preferably with a light. They are necessary if your hand can perform such slow and precise movements that are practically invisible to the eye. But what to do about the slight tremor inherent in every person, and how to overcome it? I'll talk about that next time. Subscribe so you don't miss it. To create a truly beautiful 3D engraving, you'll need more than a dozen tools. Among them are a ruler, putty knives, a trowel, a hammer and chisel, sanding and polishing machines, and many others. Next up is the angle grinder, or rather, its mini version. First of all, it must fit perfectly in your hand and have enough power for extended work on stone. For the initial processing of the stone, I use a grinder from Milwaukee. This tool is designed to handle heavy loads perfectly, ensuring consistent performance even during demanding tasks. It comes with additional useful accessories that help you make a very precise cut to exactly the right depth you need. Furthermore, it features a dust extraction port, which helps keep the workspace clean, and a built-in light for improved visibility during operation. This combination of features makes it an excellent choice for anyone working with stone. And now we come to the most important tool, a jackhammer. Just kidding, an engraver with a flexible shaft. How many brands in the world do you think make a specialized tool like an engraver? 7? 16? Or maybe 28? So which one should you choose? First of all, it's power. If it's not powerful enough, the burr will get caught on the stone and the motor will overheat. And only a few models can withstand such a load, even for a short time. Even the most powerful engraver I've ever used constantly overheated and stopped. When doing extensive work with stone, the engraver is basically a consumable. That's just the reality of it. Now we've come to our main consumables. These are diamond burrs. There's a huge variety of diamond burrs, from discs of different diameters to millimeter-sized needle burrs. I'll now show you what each of them can do and how to use them correctly. I'll show you several types of burrs. Among them are diamond burrs, tungsten carbide, abrasive, diamond wheels, and soft burrs. Let's start with the flat diamond burr. Its working surfaces are the face and the edge of the flat part. Vertical processing of the stone with the flat part of the burr is practically impossible. It's impossible to hold a burr in one place. The side, however, handles the task perfectly. A straight burr with a rounded tip. All parts of this burr are working surfaces. The rounded part is good for deepening. The side part is easy to control. It also works great when pulling the burr in the opposite direction. A cone-shaped burr, the working surface is the scythe. It's useless to cut anything with a sharp tip, except maybe to make a dot. The side part is used for processing recesses at a negative angle. Ball diamond burr. It has a full working area and is used to give rounded shapes to product elements. It goes deep vertically very well, but diamond cutters are for more precise work than tungsten carbide. The side part is easy to control, but it is important to remember that regardless of the type of cutter, you need to work against the direction of rotation of the cutter. If you move it in the direction of rotation, there is a high risk of the cutter jumping off. Round cutter with flat base. Vertical processing is completely uncontrolled. The further away from the axis of rotation of the cutter, the easier it is to control it. This applies to all flat bottom cutters. Working areas, end face and edge of the cutter base. It is worth tilting the engraver by 10 degrees and the processing becomes more precise and controlled. Reverse cone angle. It is used in cases when an element is processed deep inside the product from the back side of the element. The flat part, like the previous ones, is poorly controlled. The end piece does a great job of spaggiore processing. The cup-shaped cutter has a recess in the center. Her work areas on all sides creates a perfect volumetric circle on the product. The end of the cutter is used to process the product from the reverse side. In front of you is an oval cutter, or as it is called, an olive cutter. It copes well with vertical work, and its small size makes working with the end part a pleasure. It is controlled perfectly. Let me remind you, work only against the direction of rotation of the cutter. Needle cutter, used in exceptional cases. This is a jewelry cut with large cavities. Serves to remove excess stone. There is no point in working vertically. This will cause it to break, and the end of the cutter will get stuck inside the stone. It can be used for fine engraving, but this should be done without applying force. Next up is the tungsten carbide cutter, and one of them is cylindrical in shape with a rounded tip. Carbide burrs are more aggressive when working with stone, especially white marble. In the case of black marble, vertical processing is controlled, but there's a high risk of overheating the stone. When machining sideways, it is less controllable than a similar diamond cutter. There is a feeling of slipping. Pointed conical cutter, absolutely useless for vertical work. The end grain works well, but I feel the diamond cutters are better for hard marble. Ball-shaped carbide end mill with crosscut. I like the vertical recess, but judging by the dust fraction, it is clear that this is a rougher treatment than a similar diamond burr. The side part is easy to control and can be used to create rounded shapes on the elements of the piece. A cylindrical burr with a straight tip and a crosscut pattern. It's easy to control during vertical work, but with hard marble, it's practically useless. I like how the side part works. You can go from a shallow surface engraving to deep processing of the piece's elements. So we're done with carbide burrs, now for a fabric polishing wheel. It's used for the final polishing of the piece, usually with polishing pastes or powder. But the lifespan of such an attachment is relatively short, so you'll have to stock up on a good amount of them. A yellow polishing wheel made of dense fabric, usually impregnated with wax, is made of dense, stitched layers of fabric, which makes the wheel stiffer and more stable than the white, soft flannel ones. The color often indicates the stiffness or the type of impregnation. Yellow ones are medium stiffness, white ones are soft, and blue or brown ones are stiff for rough polishing. The wheel is used with paste or powders. A felt polishing wheel is made of densely compressed felt or wool. It allows you to apply even pressure when polishing. It's best to use it with special paste for polishing marble. Right now, I'm doing this without paste, but a slight polishing effect is still visible. Now, a little bit about diamond discs. They work great on marble, but it's best to use them for the precise removal of excess stone. For instance, if you're working on a small element, it's also suitable for the rough grinding of stone. Diamond wheels come in different diameters, from 10 mm for micro-precise cutting or engraving, up to large ones with a diameter of 100 mm. They're used for cutting stone, leveling, and removing a layer of marble. Well, if you'd like to discuss the possibilities of dimensional engraving for your projects, all the contact information's in the video description. Let's create spaces that evoke emotion. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to your questions in the comments. Bye for now, and I wish you creative success.